Welcome to another week of trading. This is for the month of June. We are halfway through the trading year. Hope your trading is going well. First trade of the week is Southwest Airlines, or LOVE. This capped up on news about Elliott Management taking a big stake in the company, $2 billion to be exact. Tried it long as a breakout over the 1. Ended up trailing out under the 5-minute as it failed on that breakout. Not quite a full R loss, but pretty much close to a full stop on this one, which ended up being a good exit because it would have hit my original stop. Then I tried the Hoth short, which is a pretty liquid low price stock. Don't really mess with these, but was gapping to all-time lows on some volume. Tried it as a breakdown off the 2-minute. It tagged me in on the bid and it didn't go. Spread also opened up here and there, so just had to sit on it and let it play out. Then I got some ADTN short on the 2-minute breakdown and had to kill it break even-ish because I was once again tagged in and it didn't go anywhere. Level 2 didn't look good as well, but also ended up being a good exit. Then I scalped the Fubo, which was breaking down on the daily and the intraday, which I finally got something to follow through a bit. Then I also had an order out for the RBA, which was moving on news about joining the S&P, and tried it on the buy setup on the 5-minute, but never triggered. Eventually ended up going later in the afternoon, but stopped watching it and missed it. Then back to the stupid Hoth. I had to leg out because the spread opens up to 5-6 cents and there were barely any shares on the offer. I did use a really big stop, so didn't have much shares, but not cool. Then I got some MEI short, which wasn't on the gaps list, but was breaking down on the daily. I decided only to try with half size here on the 15-minute sell setup and was looking to add and go full on some sort of secondary entry. So here is that secondary entry setting up. So under that 15-minute bar, I was looking to go full size, but ended up killing it over that base as it broke out. Nothing really working for me this morning until I caught some of these little scalps, like some of this NKLA as a short as it was falling apart on the intraday, along with the WAY as it broke out over the 15-minute, but didn't have much size on both. Also, this one spread opened up like crazy and took it on the quick pop. So was able to recover a bit towards the end of the day to about break even. Technically a red day, so will be tracked as one. Tuesday, first trade I went after was the VLD. This was gapping on news of a reverse split. Tried it as a short under the 1-minute. Worked, but I was way undersized for something at this price. This thing was trading at 11 cents, which means 1 penny is about a 10% move, which is asking a lot. So wasn't up too much. Then I reshorted it as it broke down on the 2-minute, but it became hard to borrow. No more shares available. And it flipped pretty much right away. So since I was short on my TOS account, I went long on my E-Trade because I didn't want to lose my borrowed shares. So I kind of boxed my position. Ended up popping instead and pretty much just gave back everything I made on the initial drop as a short and got out way too early on the long position. So kind of messed up the play on this one. Would have been much better to just kill the short as it flipped, but what can I do? Then I saw the NKLA breaking down on the hourly, so tried scalping it short, which got some follow through. Also the NEO was breaking down on the daily and had an order out for the sell setup on the 15. Never triggered and ended up popping instead. Then pretty much didn't do anything else for the rest of the day. Pretty slow start to the week. Wednesday was FOMC day. I think I may have to check the calendar from now on and switch up the week I do these videos because it somehow always seems to land in FOMC week, which isn't the best week for me to trade. But the first trade goes to TNXP, which did a secondary offering. Also, the chart hasn't adjusted yet to the recent reverse split that it did. It usually takes a couple of days or like a week for it to adjust on TOS, but secondaries do get bought sometimes, so tried some long over the 2-minute. Ended up trailing out for a half an hour loss as it triggered a sell setup instead, so decided to try it as a short as well, but barely got filled. Then I tried it as a long again. I know, make up your mind, long, then short, then long again. That's kind of the problem with these secondaries. Majority of the time, they just kind of chop around and don't go anywhere, and sometimes they do. So I did try it again, and while that was baking in the oven, I noticed the NKLA, which has been on the carryover list, was popping. So I actually shorted it as a parabolic move on the 2-minute, which kind of worked out. Then back to the TNXP, didn't end up going anywhere and killed it as it based into the 5-minute as it tried breaking down. Thankfully didn't lose anything on this third play. Then the Peloton, which was most likely just gapping up with the market since I didn't see any news on it, but tried it long on the buy setup on the 15, but with half size since it was such a tight stop. Wish I went full because it did follow through and I was able to catch that entire move to the penny and ended up topping out heading into FOMC. Then the rest of the day didn't do much else. I don't trade the FOMC move and afternoons have been pretty dead for me anyways, so took it pretty easy. Definitely not much of an exciting week, for me at least. Then Thursday, didn't see any news on it, but half N was gapping down and I decided to try short under the prior 15-minute bar. So not the low of the day, bit of an aggressive entry here since the spread opens up. Looked promising as it broke to new lows, decided to not try to take anything yet and trail off the 15, just hoping for the best here. But unfortunately, that ended up being the bottom and gave back majority of my profits. Didn't lose on it, but didn't make much either. And while that was going on, I shorted the space, which was stair-stepping lower on the 5. This was gapping on reverse split news. All these penny stocks do a reverse split because they don't want to get delisted. So tried some short, but was difficult to get filled on, but worked out pretty well and took it as the volume kicked in here. Then I didn't do much else for the rest of the afternoon until I came across the space again, which I reshorted on the 15-minute sell setup. Followed through again right into the close here, but again, was a bit difficult to get filled on and called it a day. And finally, Friday, I continued to watch the space from yesterday and shorted it on the 5-minute 1-2-3. Followed through some and shook me out as it popped quickly against me, so didn't even make an R on it, but jumped back in with what I could get filled. And thankfully was able to catch another drop on it. So decided to focus on the space since it started to base for another breakdown, but here it popped instead. I did try to get it long, but it skipped my order. Then the 8, which was selling off on a downgrade, had a breakdown on the 5-minute, but barely got filled, so just ended up taking it on this little drop and moved on back to the space as it was setting up the sell setup on the 15-minute. Didn't go this time and flipped instead. Also, I don't know why my camera went dark again. I've been having these kind of issues with my camera, so if anyone knows why this happens, let me know. It also randomly shuts off sometimes, but I think it may be time for an upgrade. But back to the space, I noticed a battle bar on the 5-minute with volume, so I was looking to go short under it or long over it. Triggered in short and got some more follow through into the close, and this was pretty much all I focused on today since it was the one paying me, so didn't really do much else and called it a week. Pretty slow week, not that interesting. June is usually a slower month since it's sandwiched in between earnings season. It's the summer doldrums, so not much of a gaps list to work with lately and not being too aggressive with my plays. So personally, just trying to make what I can, going after the things I'm confident in trading and just keeping my head above waters until earnings season comes around the corner again. Also, please remind me not to do these on FOMC week. I feel like it's the least interesting week for me, but that's going to do it. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. As always, I appreciate you for being here and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace.
Let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.